Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining our webinar today. Today we're going to be focusing on our business law concentration. So today's webinar is how can the MSL in business law help advance your career? So this is our agenda for today. I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself as well as my guest here. Then we're going to do a little bit of a brief overview of the MSL programs. And then we're going to do a Q&A with our Dean Proske, talk a little bit about why our MSL programs are distinctive, and then next steps. And then we'll do some questions and answers. Just so you know, at any time, if you don't want to forget your question, you can pop it into the Q&A or the chat. And that way, we'll answer it when it comes time. So I'm Katiana. I'm the Assistant Director of the Graduate and Online Programs here at McGeorge. And with me today is our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Experiential Learning, as well as our Faculty Director of the MSL in Business Law, Jeff Proske. Thank you for joining us. And we will go a little bit more in depth about his background in a little bit. So McGeorge has several concentrations for the Master of Science in Law program. And I just wanted to briefly cover those, but as I said, we're going to be focusing on our MSL in Business Law today. We do have 3 fully online concentrations in Business Law, Government Law and Policy, and Water and Environmental Law. In addition to those, we have 3 hybrid concentrations in Health Law, Human Resources, and then one that's not technically a concentration. It's just our MSL. It does not have a concentration attached to it, and you can kind of structure your studies based on what you're interested in the classes that McGeorge has to offer, whether online or in person or a combination of both. Our MSL in Business Law is fully online and asynchronous, meaning our students do not have to log in during a specific day of the week or a specific time of day. It's not self-paced. Everything is broken down into one module for every week of the semester where all of your pre-recorded lectures, assignments, all of that stuff is done. Jeff Proske is our faculty lead. And like I said, we'll go a little bit more in depth, but he served as general counsel for Fortune 500. This MSL concentration is designed for business and nonprofit leaders as well as HR professionals. And then there is an optional in-person workshop on our San Francisco campus if you are interested. Okay, with that, thank you, Dean Proske, for joining us. I have a few questions for you, and then, if you just want to answer them. So the first question is, who is the MSL Business Law concentration intended for?
Well, the business law concentration would be useful to students from a wide variety of backgrounds and industries, including those employed in business, compliance, education, entertainment, finance, healthcare, human resources, law enforcement, and more. We developed a concentration for students who want to have an understanding of the spectrum of laws that impact businesses of all sorts. The students interested in this degree would benefit from learning how to conduct legal analysis and from being able to use their knowledge to obtain leadership skills in their professions or to assist them in entrepreneurial pursuits of their own.
Thank you. What makes the MSL in Business Law so distinctive?
Well, unlike other business law programs, we developed the McGeorge Business Law concentration specifically to deliver learning outcomes related to law as it typically applies to businesses, including large corporations, small for-profit and nonprofit businesses, government units, and entrepreneurs. The program includes courses on contracts, business formation, negotiation, leadership, employment law, tax, intellectual property law, and contract drafting. These are all courses focused on law as it relates to actual businesses practicing in the world, not unrelated legal subjects. Our aim in designing the concentration was to equip students with practical knowledge of the variety of laws that intersect with the businesses of all sorts of industries, and gives the students an opportunity to see how law and impacts businesses at every level.
Great, makes sense. Can you speak to the curriculum of the concentration and how it specifically serves the needs and interests of students interested in business? And I do have it up on the slide as well.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. We designed the curriculum to build doctrinal and practical skills sequentially over the course of 2 years, which are 4 semesters and 1 summer session. So in the first year, students all have the introduction to legal analysis, and they also have analytical skills, which focuses on contracts. The summer session after the first year includes leadership in organizations, persuasive public speaking, and then in the second semester, business organizations and negotiations, all of which are focused on business-specific topics. In the second year, students can choose from a variety of different courses, including legislatures and lawmaking, the executive branch and administrative state, employment law, contract drafting, state and federal taxation, survey of intellectual property law, and we'll be developing other courses in the future.
Yeah, and just so you guys know on this, this is just an example of kind of what your semesters might look like. Some of our students take more classes, some of them take less than the ones that we have listed each semester. There's a lot of flexibility with the program and how much of a load you're taking, especially if you're working and have other things going on. Okay, next question. What is your experience with business law and how does that inform the program?
Well, I practiced law for over 20 years before I became a law professor. And during that 20 years, I worked in a variety of different areas of business law practice. So I worked with big firms, small firms working on mergers and acquisitions, finance, banking, real estate transactions, employment law. And then I went in-house and became a general counsel with a couple of Fortune 500 companies where I helped establish their legal departments and help them with all of their legal matters. So I was the chief legal officer for some big companies who were engaged principally in commercial real estate development and home development, home building. And in that role, I did a lot of practice in mergers and acquisitions, commercial real estate finance, employment law, contracts, contract drafting, leasing, all kinds of things. So collective bargaining. So that background is really what informed my perspective on developing the curriculum for this business law concentration. I wanted to focus on things that I actually encountered when I was doing this practice in the real world with a variety of different businesses in a whole bunch of different areas as well. So that's my background, and I hope to convey some of that through our development of the curriculum for this program.
Thank you. What do you see the chief learning outcomes of the program to be, and how are they helpful to students in the program?
I see the chief learning outcomes of the program generally to be for students to learn critical doctrinal law in areas that impact businesses of all sorts. So I also want students to know how to apply the law practically through effective legal analysis. I'd say another important outcome is to give students the knowledge and confidence to achieve leadership goals in their professional lives. That's about it. I think learning those things will help students develop the confidence to enter a boardroom or a business meeting of any sort with the confidence that will help them achieve their ends.
Yeah. In what ways would students be able to apply what they learn in the business law concentration?
The curriculum for the program was designed to provide students with a strong foundation in both doctrine and practical skills. So for instance, the analytical skills contract course, which is required in the first semester of the program, gives students a practical introduction to the doctrinal law of contracts. And it also helps them develop a foundational legal and analytical problem-solving skill base related to the common law. So students will be equipped to review and analyze contracts and the legal implications of the provisions of a contract in real time and have the confidence to negotiate the terms of those contracts effectively, knowing what the outcomes will be for the provisions that they're negotiating, and how to record what the parties want on either side in a way that delivers the actual results if the parties enter into the contract and then encounter a dispute. What happens then if it all falls apart? Can you go to court and have the court actually enforce the provisions that you've included? So that's what I see the application being.
Good. Well, thank you for answering my questions. I'm sure we'll have some more after I just briefly go through the why our programs are distinctive.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions for anybody who wants to ask.
Oh, and we did have somebody who just joined. So if you did just join, if you have questions at the end or had specific questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. So briefly, what makes our graduate degrees distinctive? So our online MSL programs, as I mentioned, are asynchronous. So the lectures are asynchronous. You are not having to log in at a specific time of day or a specific day of the week. You can kind of structure each of your weeks around when you have the most availability. With that, though, you still have a lot of interaction with your classmates and the professors in the course with our interactive weekly discussions. Those discussions typically require not just a response to the professor, but responses back and forth with your classmates on your post or maybe on their post or some combination of both. And then we also have ungraded quizzes, which allow you to kind of test your knowledge along the way throughout the semester and see where you maybe aren't having the best understanding of something and need to either reach out to your classmates or professor or, just look a little bit more into it. That way you don't get to the end and realize that you really missed a crucial part of the class. Practical real world assignments, which I think Dean Proske, mentioned in several of the answers to the questions is, you are working on things that are, it's happening now. It's stuff that's currently going on. It's issues that, are happening and people are facing right now. So it's not all just learning about things that have happened in the past, although you do have to learn that when you're going to law school. Regular feedback from professors. Our professors are really great about being involved. They're happy to meet with you over Zoom or email back and forth or set aside some time to chat with you. And they also provide feedback on your assignments, whether they're graded or not. They really do want the students in the class to perform well and be successful. So they try to provide as much feedback as they can. And then a collegial online learning community. McGeorge as a whole, I feel like is very students, faculty, staff, we're all here for each other. And that's the same in our online programs. I mean, the students get close, even though you're not necessarily seeing them every day. I know we do have local students who will meet up on campus or meet up somewhere else and work together. We have students that connect in class and stay in connection throughout, their careers and things. So you still get that sense of community even in our online programs. Okay, next up. So technically our application deadline was on Monday. However, if you've either started an application, which I think at least a few of you have, I mentioned in an email that you have until August 6th to get all of your materials in, and we will still review it and make a decision for this upcoming fall semester. If you haven't started an application, but you are very determined to start this fall, please do send me an email and I will put it in the chat here briefly in a minute, and we can talk about it. Classes do not start until August 18th, so there is a bit of a crunch time to kind of get everything in, get you settled, get you registered for classes, make sure you have your books and all that, because we don't want you rushing as soon as class starts. But if it's something you really want to do, more than happy to talk about it with you. There is no GRE or LSAT required for application. You can just go to our website, you need resume, transcripts, personal statement, writing sample, and letters of recommendation, which is usually the one that takes the longest. Okay, with that, there is the email to our main line, but like I said, I will pop my personal or my work email in here in case you want to talk about applying for the fall semester. But while I'm doing that, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. We will hang out for a bit. Had to make sure I spelled my name right. Well, while we're waiting on questions, I was just going to ask, I forgot what I was going to ask. It will come back to me. My apologies. So
Yeah,
for the
feel free to speak up if you have a question. I'm happy to share any information about my background, programs at McGeorge, the business law concentration, anything, careers in the law.
So we do have one question, which I think what it's asking is for somebody who is coming like straight out of undergrad with a bachelor's degree and doing the MSL, like where could they use this degree? How could they use this degree?
The MSL is meant for people who don't have an interest in becoming lawyers and don't have an interest in going to court and representing clients, but need to have a firm foundation in doctrinal law in order to be able to function in their job. A lot of positions in government and regulatory industries, etc., regulated industries, really have kind of a difficult learning curve when it comes to how to read and understand statutes and regulations and how they're applied in the real world and how to do the analysis that is necessary to understand how the rule applies in specific contexts. So an MSL degree is really intended for people who want to be able to sit at the table and have that conversation and speak authoritatively about how to conduct legal analysis and how to buttress their perspectives and opinions in those circumstances with real world understanding of how legal analysis is conducted. So they can have the confidence to do it and have people listen.
Okay, somebody's raising their hand, so I'm assuming you would like to talk. So I'm going to give you the ability to talk. So give me 1 second. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Kachana?
Yes, I can.
The chat is disabled, so we cannot enter anything in the chat. It's disabled, by the way.
Oh, thank you for letting me know.
And also, like, I'm a realtor now in Hawaii, and I deal with a lot of contracts, so it's very important for me to understand. I think this is very helpful to me, I think, legal analysis and also contract drafting and understand the contract, because I'm a real estate for the last over 20 years now. I have my own company, Legal Realty. And that's why I think sort of attracted me to this course, especially dealing with contract and legislative, how to make the law and things like that also. So, thank you. By the way, on the second semester, is it an option to take any of those courses in the second half, second year or something?
What do you mean? I guess just let me make sure I understand your question.
The first year is basically legal analysis and contract, and then my understanding is the second semester, the second year, you have an option between employment law, legislature, and lawmaking, something like that.
Yes. So in your second year, the last 2 semesters of your program, so the last 12 units, will be made up of electives. So we currently have courses like employment law, contract drafting, state and federal taxation, survey of intellectual property, legislatures and lawmaking, executive branch and admin state. We also have courses in the other concentrations that our students are welcome to take. So some of those are water and environmental law courses, government law and policy making. There's kind of a variety of options, but the ones focused around business law are going to be like employment law and contract drafting. And we also do develop more courses as time goes by.
So basically year 2 is elective, something like that.
Yes.
You can choose legislature and lawmaking or contract drafting.
Among a few other courses, yeah. And I mean, depending on when you enroll, we might even have other options at that time. But yeah, your second year, your last 12 units are made up of electives. So they're courses of your choosing.
But the year 1 is pretty much set. Introduction, legal analysis, contracts, business organization, negotiation, things like that. Okay. And I think the question then is, what is the tuition like on this one?
So our program, shoot, I forgot the number. I believe it's $1,591 per unit. So we charge per unit what you take each semester. The total comes out to about $41,000 for the entire 26 units. But you don't pay, a lot of people are familiar with like paying a year's worth of flat tuition up front. That's not how we do things. We charge you based on how many units you take each semester. So if you're taking the 6 units each semester, which is what it's designed to be done as, it's about $9,000 something a semester.
Okay, so if you take like year 1, for example, introduction to legal analysis, contract units, that'll be like 6 units, right?
That's the first semester. Yeah, that's 6 units.
6 units. So that would be like about $2,000 or something.
No, 6 units would be about 9,000.
About 9,000.
Yeah, because it's about 1,591 per unit.
So second semester is about 6 units as well.
Yes.
This is organization and negotiation, And this summer, is that like an optional or is that elective, or do we have to take that, the summer classes?
The 2 1-unit classes for the summer are required.
Required, okay. So basically year 1, they're all required topics or subject matter.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you for the clarification.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions? I'm going to give you guys just another minute or so. And then I did put my email in the chat, although now I'm wondering if you couldn't even see that, but we'll find out. Otherwise, just send an email to thegraduatelaw@pacific.edu. I do monitor that, so you can also connect with me that way.
You're welcome to connect with me too if you have questions for me. Pat, can you provide my email address too?
Yes, and I will also, to those of you who attended, I will send a follow-up email just in case these chats aren't going.
Thank you.
Oh, one more question. Let me let you talk. Hold on. There you go.
I'm gonna unmute myself. As far as like, I'm maybe thinking of registering 2026, which is next year. Only because I have all my schedule done already for this year, so it's kind of hard for me. So when do we register if we're planning to have it next year, 2026?
So if you want to apply for next year, we have a spring start, which starts in January, but we'll also have the fall start again, which starts in August. For spring, our applications are usually due, I believe December 8th is the deadline, just because the university does close at the end of December. And then classes begin January 8th and 12th, I believe. And then for fall 26, applications are typically due around the same time, so end of July, with classes beginning in August.
Okay. And do you have to pay everything, like 9,000, for example, or do you pay it in like what do you call this, installment?
If you are paying out of pocket, the business office does allow you to set up payment plans each semester. I think it's 3 installments. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 3 installments that you can, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Give you guys another minute and then we will let you go for the rest of your afternoon. But if you do have a question, there is a Q&A option. I guess if the chat is disabled, but maybe try popping them in there. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, we're going to let you go. I will send a follow-up email to all of you who attended with both mine and Dean Proske's email addresses. And then that way you can also connect with me. Oh, one more question. 2 more questions. Are we allowed to participate in the study abroad programs? Yes, the MSL program, we have had a few MSL students participate in the study abroad. If that's something you're interested in doing, you will just need to speak to Dean Kuchera once you've been admitted, and you can talk to her about that. And she also runs that program, so just you'll have to communicate with her. But yes, you are allowed to do that. Jack, you raised your hand. Do you want to raise it again? Yeah, okay.
Yes, one last question, promise. The different, I live in Hawaii, so the different time zone doesn't really affect, because you say that you can access the program anytime you want if you're ready.
Correct. Yes, we have students that live in different time zones. And we actually, I don't know if right now we have a student in Hawaii, but we've had students in Hawaii in the past. And because we don't do live sessions, if they are live, they're optional and they're pre-recorded. I believe the negotiations course has some live components, but they're typically predetermined by groups beforehand. So you're not like all of a sudden having to attend at a specific time without any notice. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? Oh, okay. Is nonprofit organizations taught under business law or government?
Well, our business organizations course does cover a variety of ownership structures, which would include nonprofit corporations.
Yeah. Does that answer your question? Just want to make sure. Yes, okay, good. And I think you were the one who joined a little bit late, but just so you know, and I think you've started an application. So if you do have questions that you missed during the presentation, just let me know via email and we can connect again. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to do another minute and then we will let you go. I feel like every time I say that, there's another question, which is great, but I don't want to like cut you guys off. Okay. Okay, I am going to let you guys go. And Dean Proske, thank you so much for joining and answering our questions. Like I said, Yeah, I will follow up with an email later today and we can connect that way. But thank you all so much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Nice to meet you.